Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. Today we're diving into one of the most challenging and debated topics in the entire Bible, divorce and the sacredness of marriage. In Matthew 5:31 through 32, Jesus takes a cultural norm, something that people were doing just because it was legal and easy, and he raises the bar. He points us back to the heart of the matter, faithfulness. I want to share a story about a year in my marriage when walking away felt like the only logical option, and why the radical words of Jesus ended up being our lifeline. 7 years ago, my wife and I hit a wall. There wasn't some big scandal. No one cheated, no one stole money. It was just the grind. We had 2 kids under 3, I was working a job I hated, and we had stopped being us. We were just 2 roommates managing a very stressful schedule. We fought about everything: the laundry, the budget, who got to sleep in on Saturdays. The culture around us made the solution seem simple. I remember sitting at lunch with a coworker who said, "Look, life is too short to be unhappy. You guys are just incompatible now. People change. You can get a no-fault divorce, stay friends, and find someone who actually makes you happy. Everyone's doing it." In Jesus' day, it was similar. People were using a line from Deuteronomy to justify divorcing their wives for almost any reason. It was legal, it was cultural, and it was easy. The temptation wasn't necessarily to find someone else. It was the temptation of the exit sign. When you know you have an easy out, you don't work as hard to fix what's broken. I started looking at apartments. I started imagining a life where I didn't have to deal with the tension at home. I was falling out of love, and the world told me that was a perfect valid reason to break a covenant. I was looking for a loophole. I wanted the Bible to give me a hall pass because I was miserable. But then I sat down with these verses. Jesus says, "It has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce. But I tell you," whenever Jesus says, "but I tell you," he's about to move from the letter of the law to the spirit of the heart. He was saying that marriage isn't just a legal contract you can tear up. It's a radical union that God takes deeply seriously. I realized that by looking for the exit, I was already being unfaithful in my heart. Jesus limits the grounds for divorce so strictly because he wants us to see that the wide gate of easy exits leads to a society of broken trust. If we can walk away whenever it gets hard, then "I do" doesn't actually mean anything. I realized that I wasn't treating my wife like a service provider. As long as she made me happy, I'd stay. But marriage isn't a transaction. It's a mirror of God's love for us. God doesn't divorce us when we're difficult or when we're incompatible with his holiness. He stays. The realization hit me. I didn't have an incompatibility problem. I had a selfishness problem. I wanted the blessing of marriage without the sacrifice of the covenant. That night, I didn't go to my wife with a list of things she needed to change. I went to her and said, "I've been looking for a way out, and I'm sorry. I'm taking the exit sign off the table. I am in this, no matter how hard it gets, because God is in this." We decided to do the hard work. We went to counseling. We started praying together again, even when we were mad. We stopped saying the word divorce in our house. When you take the easy exit off the table, you're forced to actually build a better room. Because we knew we weren't leaving, we had to figure out how to be happy where we were. Jesus' teaching on divorce isn't about trapping people in misery. It's about protecting the sanctity of the family and the souls of the people involved. He knows that the destruction caused by broken covenants ripples through generations. Being faithful isn't just about not cheating. It's about choosing your spouse every single day, especially on the days you don't feel like it. It's about understanding that the narrow gate of marriage requires us to die to ourselves so that something beautiful, a union, can live. Thanks for watching. Here are today's reflection questions. What exit sign are you tempted to reach for when your commitment gets hard? And what would change if you took it off the table today? Are you treating your most important relationships like a transaction, staying only when it serves you? Or like a covenant, staying especially when it costs you? Drop your thoughts about the story in the comments below. Your experience might encourage someone else facing the same choice. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe.